And our lead story of the day is Republicans have sent Kamala Harris, the border czar, an early Christmas present. Now, what was that present? Well, they sent her a flurry of migrant buses to her home in Washington, D.C. on Christmas Eve. Folks, this is one you're not going to want to miss. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Texas Governor Greg Abbott and other leading Republicans from southern states have arranged the transport of thousands of migrants to liberal enclaves such as Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C., Martha's Vineyard in recent months to draw attention to the U.S. Mexico border crisis. Now, if you recall early on, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and Doug Ducey of Arizona were busing these migrants to New York City, and Mayor Eric Adams of New York City was complaining, filing a state of emergency, asking citizens of New York to house these illegal immigrants, and it got so bad where their infrastructure was starting to crumble, and so they had to build these shelters for them where they were getting Xboxes, plasma TVs, 3-course meals, revolving menu, laundry services, couches, coffee tables, like you name it, these migrants got it. They're getting better hospitality from the United States government than actual citizens are from their own government, of which they pay taxes to. That's the Democrat Party for you. Well, with the temperature dipping into the teens, buses are approximately 50 migrants were expected to arrive late Saturday in front of the U.S. Naval Observatory. A reporter with 7 News, a local ABC affiliate, caught what he said was the third and final bus of the night, noting it came from Texas. So Doug Ducey's just continually shipping these people out. And look, they get to choose where they want to go. It's not like they're just forced to go, which is a Democrat and progressive left narrative right now from the White House specifically saying, oh, well, they're forcing them, they're fooling them, they're tricking them. No. This is in their language. They get to choose where they want to go. They get to pick it, and then they go there free ride with air quotations. Video posted to social media by the reporter Christian Flores showed what he said were migrants picking up their belongings and boarding another bus destined for a local church. They included women and children. Now, at the southern border, there are some of these churches that are utilizing undocumented vans to pick these migrants up and then chauffeur them into the interior of the country, unbeknownst to a lot of people. I don't put unbeknownst to a lot of people, meaning mostly Republicans and localities and other Americans out there, because the Democrat Party, specifically Joe Biden administration, have been doing this since day one. They've been flying them under the dark of the night. And we've seen camera footage, body cam footage of law enforcement saying, what's this undocumented plane? Why are you parked on the tarmac in the dark? And the person just straight up saying, well, we don't want cameras. We don't want anybody to see us. We're doing this, kind of some sort of a covert operation here of getting these people out here because we have no room at the southern border for them. Joe Biden's not going to tell you that, though. He's going to tell you this is the number one issue and that he's doing anything he possibly can to resolve it, even though he's broken records. He's literally the leading United States president in immigration ever. Well, CNN cited Amy Fisher with the Migrant Solidarity Mutual Aid, saying asylum seekers were originally headed for New York, but shifted to D.C. because of the weather. Or so they were told. I think this was part of Doug Ducey and Greg Abbott's plan the entire time to send her an early Christmas present, because that's what you do as a fellow American, especially in Congress, is you send your vice president a lovely, lovely gift of which they love and support. He reported the migrants were being bused locally by the Migrant Solidarity Mutual Aid Network. These migrants arrived in D.C. as the Supreme Court decides the fate of Title 42, and I'm hearing behind closed doors that Title 42 is going to actually be removed. That's what I'm hearing. A controversial Trump-era public health order that allows U.S. border agents to turn away migrants, including those seeking asylum, on an expedited basis. A group of Republican-led states, including Texas, are fighting the Biden administration in court to keep the emergency powers alive, warning of the potential for more chaos at the border. If this gets removed, in which I'm hearing it's going to, folks, I'm hearing this, they're already preparing at the southern border for all this stuff to happen. I'm not going to give away my sources, but they're completely like, we're going to start pulling people back. Whatever vacation time you had, I'm sorry, you're going to be called in, because they're expecting a bleep storm at this southern border, like things you've never seen before. But Democrats are going to tell us they have it all under control. The Biden administration is going to tell us they have it all under control. Name one thing that the Biden administration has had under control this entire time as his presidency. Look at the economy. Look at the border. Look at our foreign affairs. Look at our domestic policy. I mean, what is one thing this guy's had under control? Maybe gas prices, and I wouldn't even know how much his involvement is in that because the Petroleum Reserve doesn't really do much. Let me know in the comments below on that one. U.S. authorities reported more than 2 million. Yes, folks, we're in the millions now. Migrant encounters at the border in fiscal year 2022. A marked increase from the prior year, meaning things have exponentially have gotten worse from president to president, but specifically under Joe Biden, just dramatically worse. When that figure was reported in October, Customs and Border Protection Commissioner said failing regimes in Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua were driving a new wave of migrants across the Western Hemisphere. I mean, it's not just from that either, because you had Karine Jean-Pierre on the podium saying, oh, well, we're telling them to get their misinformation correct, to not push misinformation, and we're going to go after the smugglers and do an anti-smuggling campaign. All the while, we showed video clips of the Mexico Police Department sending freaking busloads of migrants to the border. They were actually escorting them, like 20 busloads of migrants to the border. So don't give me this whole smuggling thing that, don't come, the border's closed, and we're doing everything we can. No. Mexico's supporting this. They're chauffeuring people to the border. They're getting them out there. They're expediting these people as if they're freaking Amazon Prime and getting them across the border right into the interior of the country. Quote, the Biden-Harris administration continues ignoring and denying the historic crisis at our southern border, which has endangered and overwhelmed Texas communities for almost 2 years. Our supposed border czar, Vice President Kamala Harris, has yet to visit the border and see firsthand the impact of the border and the open border policies she has implemented and helped implement, even so far as to claim the border is secure. And not just her, Alejandro Mayorkas, the DHS secretary, has said that multiple times as well, which we've covered here on the Bald Brad Show. Texas will continue sending migrants to sanctuary cities like Washington, D.C. until President Biden and border czar Harris step up and do their jobs to secure the border. Oh, well, I was told by Karine Jean-Pierre, the mouthpiece of the president of the Biden administration, they were securing the border. I've been told the border is secure, which is weird because they're asking for like $3 billion in funding to secure the border and help fix whatever's going on down there, which we pointed out here. Whatever funding is that they're trying to get does nothing at stopping this flow of migrants in the border. What it does is they're literally asking for a transportation aid in terms of monetary value and money so that they can fly migrants from one station to another station, because if one station gets to capacity, they need to move them, whether that's from ground or air, to another facility that's in the interior of the country, folks. It's not like they're sending them back home. That's not what the transportation is all about. They're going to just be sending them from one area to the other in the United States. Nothing that they're proposing, I'm telling you right now, we've covered it here from the mouthpiece of the White House. Not a damn thing they're asking for in terms of money is going to solve the situation that's at the southern border. Then they go, oh, it's Title 8 this, Title 8 that. No, folks. You're going to see a bleep storm real quick. This stuff is nuts. But Kamala Harris, hey, she's been to the border. She told us where there's nothing going on there whatsoever. And you got to love the fact that they're asking more money. But you know who's also asking money? Is the localities in the states like Arizona and Texas asking the federal government, meaning the executive branch, for compensation of the result of what they've been getting at the border. You have these localities that are spending upwards of $7+ million out of their own budget, by the way, meaning the local taxpayer dollars, not the federal government dollars, the local taxpayer dollars on this whole thing. And they're going, look, we're running out of money. We have no money. And you need to reimburse us for what we've spent because you're the one that caused this in the first place, completely being ignored by the Biden administration. And we've seen that going back all the way to the COVID days, which we've covered here, where the Biden administration was literally sending them busloads of migrants into these localities and expecting the locality to pay for all their COVID testing. And so literally they had to file a state of emergency in some of these areas, or a local emergency, because they didn't have the funding to pay for all these migrants. They were shelling out like $200,000 a busload or something like that for all these COVID tests. It's wild. So this is what's going on at the southern border. I told you I'd always keep you up to date because it's my number one issue outside of what's going on with Congress spending all of our money, which we'll get to in one moment. But let me know what you think about this one in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.